I think a lot of people misunderstand what ego death really means. I think they picture it like some dramatic moment, like one day, poof, your ego just disappears and you're enlightened. But it doesn't really work like that. See, for me, it kind of began years ago after a near-death experience, and I don't want to go into that story right now itself, but it's something in me, it kind of changed that day. Something opened that just couldn't close again. And afterwards, I tried to go back to being normal, back to like human mode, doing what people do, feeling how they feel. But something was kind of dissolving. And not because I chose it. Maybe I did in another way, but it was just kind of happening. And at some point, I stopped fighting it. I just started to accept it. No more resistance. And in that acceptance, the ego began to like loosen its grip, not die exactly, just kind of, fade into the background. And that's when I started noticing something else. It's like learning how to use the ego consciously. You now can be able to turn it on and off. When, you need to navigate this world, turn it on. When you want to do something else, turn it off. And that's when I started to understand that ego isn't the enemy. It's just the tool for having this physical experience. See, you need the ego to be here, to be human. Without it, there's no you to experience life. There's no you. But once you see that you're not the ego, that you're just awareness using it, something shifts, and it pretty much shifts forever. See, after that, I began to notice how I was thinking. Sometimes I'd be driving and a thought would come out of nowhere, and I'd ask myself, wow, where did that thought come from, Then I'd start tracing it back, one thought to another, kind of like breadcrumbs leading me home, That's how I learned the difference between thoughts from the ego and thoughts from something deeper. The ego's thoughts come from memory. They come from fear or the need to protect an identity. But sometimes a thought can arrive in silence. No origin, no reason, just there. And those are the ones that come from beyond the mind. That's kind of too when everything started to shift. And it's strange how the more awareness that you have, the less reactive you become. I used to get caught up in things like politics and people's opinions and all that chaos online. And now I still see all of it, but I see through it. I don't have to agree or disagree. I don't have to react, because now I recognize this is just the play. That's the play I'm watching. That's the whole show. And when you step out of the story, not by rejecting it, but seeing it clearly, something really amazing happens. You find peace in the middle of the noise. All that chaos, it's just quiet now. And I notice this even when I scroll through social media. My brain still reacts sometimes, like that's not true or that's ridiculous. But the awareness steps in and says, well, maybe that's true for them, and that's okay. And that's really what I mean when I talk about observing life instead of being, consumed by it. You stop taking everything so personally, You stop needing to control or fix or defend. You just kind of see now. And the moment you start seeing, the world gets softer, it gets more beautiful. You realize everyone is playing their part, living from their own level of awareness. And from that place, you can stop judging, and you can start maybe understanding people instead. Even things like that used to scare me, what long time ago when I was younger, but what people may call dark energy or demons, I see differently now. The unknown doesn't frighten me at all. The ego sees what it doesn't understand as danger. But awareness knows the unknown is where the truth hides. So when you face the unknown without fear, you actually find more of yourself there, you know? Ego death isn't about becoming nothing. It's about realizing you were never just the ego to begin with. You're the awareness that was here even before the story began. You can learn to observe life instead of, being consumed by it. And that's where the real peace begins. Thanks for listening, guys. Please follow me on my social medias. Please click the bell and subscribe and share if you can. And that's it. F the ego. Start seeing the world through a different pair of eyes. Have a great night.